This Recharge Breakout is entitled Revamping Through Partnerships. My good friend, Dr. Ira Antoine, is not only going to challenge you, but he's going to provide you with skills to use in order to partner with the community around you. Now, let's get recharged.
So with our time together is going to talk about how do we have a balanced life? How do we balance ourselves in ministry? Especially those of us who are bivocational, those of us who, even if you don't serve as a pastor, but you serve in ministry, then you surely, as a volunteer, you definitely bivocational. You know, because even if you don't work outside of your house, you still got a job. I say that all the time. My folks be asking, you know, so does your wife work outside the home? Her biggest job, she worked more than she's not punching the clock than she before. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend some time together, just looking at how do we balance our lives of the bivocational pastor. So I'm kind of an interactive facilitator. So if you have questions, comments, don't wait till the end, because at the end we're gonna be running. So I'd be glad to just kind of walk along that. So I want to share 7 principles in practice. Let me give you a little really quick background of myself. So I serve as a director for bivocational pastors for Texas Baptist. I've been doing that now for 13. Well, I've been with Texas Baptist for 13 years. I've been serving my current capacity for the last 6.5 years, almost 7 years now. And so, in my capacity, my responsibility is just to encourage, equip, and engage bivocational pastors throughout the state of Texas. Over 2/3 of our pastors and our ministers, our ministries are led by bivocational pastors, or they are small membership churches, so churches that run under 100 in morning worship. So we have a lot of about 5,300 churches. We have a lot of them that are either led by bivocational or small membership churches. But also I serve as a pastor. I have the pleasure of serving as a pastor of a church in Goliad, Texas, the Minnehulah Baptist Church. So I've been in ministry 32 years now, vocational ministry. I served 2 churches in my second church. So I call them tours of duty. So both included with all tours of duty, I've got a little over 20 years pastoral experience, or being the pastor. And so here's some things that I've discovered over the time of being bivocational, especially being bivocational for the last 15 years. I always say Bible is not a bad word. It's just the state that we're in and where I am. And so I'm not pushing to become fully funded from our church, because that's not where we are right now. Our church couldn't do it. But I had to know how to balance my life. I had to know how to balance it. Whether you're bivocational or whether you're fully funded pastor, there's a need to balance. And I use our team to help me partner in balancing my life, or balancing the work that I do. So I have a picture I want to show you guys right quick. Here's this. The life of a bivocational pastor can look like this. Or you're a worker. You got all these hats. You got these things going on. You don't know where's one, what you're doing. At one point in my time with Texas Baptist BGCT, for about 2 years, I worked on 4 different teams at one time. So I had to walk around still with 4 business cards. I felt like I had a hat with bills on it. I just kind of pushed it. If I was talking about discipleship, I was with this. If I was talking about African American ministry, I was talking about this. If I was with some other team, I was talking about this. And so, then you add on church, when you add on home, then you add on other stuff. You just kind of tossing, not knowing where you are, what day you are, what's going on. It had gotten so hectic at one point, honest is truth. I was traveling a whole lot, just ripping and running. I was in a hotel, woke up one morning, and did not know where I was. Not because I blacked out, not because I was drugged, not because I was drunk, nothing. I didn't know where I was. I literally had to go to the phone and look at the dial pad to see what city I was in. That's how hectic my schedule had been. I go, oh, okay, I gotta be here. So my alarm went off. I didn't even know I was. That's a scary feeling. Not to know just what's going on, what day of the week it is, so forth and so on. Now, here is what you would desire your life to look like. Balance. This is a picture I took while on vacation in Mexico. I was walking along the seaboard, and I saw this guy just stacking rocks. And as I was walking, I was doing my morning exercise, and then and on the way back, that was the finished product. And I was so intrigued, I literally stopped. So this is not one of them stock pictures you get off. This is something I was there, you know. But when you look at this, formation. So it intrigued me. If you're able to see this rock right, see that little rock right there? Yeah, this big rock. But that little bitty rock. It takes some skill to balance those big ones between that one. And I actually stood for a minute and watched that guy, and was watching, and he was all those rock. He was looking around. He's trying to find the perfect rocks, and so he picked one. He tried, put it aside, but it just, you had to balance on. And I think that's how we want to have a balanced life. Whether you're a bivocational pastor, or whether you volunteer, or you're a bivocational ministry leader, wherever it is, you and I need to get some balance. This is the life we desire to have. Remember, I can send you that picture if you want, Doc. I can send. I got it on my phone. Trust me. I have it. I had it as a screen saver at one time, just to remind me to hang in there. I'll make sure you get it. So here's the question: how do you balance your life? How do you get these rocks and get yourself in balance? So that's what we want to spend our time with today, our few minutes today. I want to share some principles that I've discovered and developed or crafted over my life for the last 20 years of ministry. And not just some principles, but what practices. How do you practically put this into play? Is that okay? We good with that? Cool. Here's the very first one. You probably heard this somewhere else, some other way. Clearly identify and define your roles. Clearly identify and define your roles. Over a decade or maybe two now, close to 20 years ago, I was introduced to the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. The Stephen Covey program, if you would. So that's one of the things that you use. So if you're familiar with Stephen Covey and the 7 Habits, then you know where I am. If you're not, if you Google it, trust me, it's going to pop up right away. And one of the things that you have to do at the beginning is define just who you are. Define what your role is. Define out what you're expected to do. And I always say this, that for all of us, for most of us, let me just say that, these are going to come on as our top roles, some of our top roles. First and foremost, you have to identify yourself as a child of God. You are a child of God. And boom, that's it. And that should be your highest priority, your highest responsibility. Then for me, for most of us, I'm a spouse. Whether you're married, with your husband or wife, but I'm a spouse. I was a child of God first. I got married, I became a spouse. We adopted kids, became a parent. I was employed before I was a parent, but still, that's energy. But that's how the responsibility goes. So here's the deal. I got to make sure that I have those roles clearly identified. I got to put them down. That's okay. And so watch this. And I'll say this in a minute, but when I manage my time, that I got to say, as a child of God, what am I needed to do as a child of God? Watch this. My role as a child of God and my role as a pastor is two different things. You got what I'm saying? Sometimes we do devotion, and that's just pre-sermon prep. Because what you did in your devotion this morning might be Bible study Wednesday. Amen? And that's two different things. I had to learn that that I may be reading through the Psalms in my devotion, or I may be reading through an Old Testament book or whatever, or just a subject. But my sermon series right now currently is on Ephesians. So I don't go read Ephesians for devotion. I read Ephesians to give away. I may go read Galatians, or I may go read this wherever. Or I may be studying on a word or something like that. I differentiate those two so that I can feed me. Now, if it happens that as I'm teaching and preparing something, and something that my devotion come up, I'm cool, but I don't force that. That makes sense. But watch this. But I had to clearly define those roles in order to make sure I differentiate those two. Because if not, I'll mix them up under I'm gonna hit two birds with one stone. And you know what happened? Sometimes I don't hit nothing. Because I'm trying to, what was this? You know, my devotional, what I do for devotion, what I do for sermon purpose, there's two different ways that I do it. That's just me personally. Okay. As a spouse, I gotta clearly identify. I gotta remember, hey man, you married. You married. I was sharing with an earlier class. I said, one of the things is the Lord had to shake me up one time and help me to understand, differentiate those roles between a spouse and a pastor. Okay, and so who's what? So I'm gonna give you a real quick version of what could be a long story. So one night I was having this dream, and just hear it out before you make a judgment on me. So I was having this dream, because I dream all the time. My wife don't dream. When she wake up and said I had a dream last night, I get scared. I'm like, what? I have a dream. Like, okay, you dream. So I had this dream, brother, and I was like, and here was the dream. There I was in our bed, sleeping, and on one side I was holding my wife, and as I was sleeping, and on the other side of me there was this other lady from the church, and I woke up freaked out. I'm like, whoa, no! I'm like, no, and I'm looking all around the room like, and I'm like, ain't nothing going on my heart straight. Here's what the Lord told me. The Lord said very clearly. He said, I need you to take care of your wife and let me take care of mine. Because I was so consumed with the church, his bride, I was neglecting mine. Now, I don't know about you guys, that was a wake-up call for me. Because every time I saw that lady, I didn't even go close to her. I waved at her from across the room. I wasn't trying to, there was nothing there, and there was never anything there. Here's the point. Sometimes God got to use those shock factors, but I had to differentiate. I got to remember that I'm a parent and not just a pastor. So my children need to talk to a parent. Several months ago, 25-year-old came to me. She's going through some stuff, and I said, who do you want to talk to? I said, I wear a lot of hats. Who do you want to talk to? You want a counselor? You want a pastor? You want the patriarch of the house? Or family? A clan? What do you want? She says, I want my dad. I want to talk to the pastor. I want to talk to a counselor. I don't want to talk to the patriarch. I need my dad right now. Because I ain't seen him in a long time. Now, if that don't get you, then I said, okay, what you want dad to know? I just miss my dad. I don't need a pastor. Clearly define those roles. So when I'm having lunch with the girls, when I'm hanging out with the girls, I don't pastor them. We having a parent talk. So I can't tell you how I parent, but we get down. We just open, we raw. That's how we talk. This ain't no pastoral conversation right here. This a daddy going, girl, you stupid out your mind. That dude dumb as whatever. I just talk like a dad. I don't talk, Pastor, the Lord says, nah, I ain't praying for him. As a parent, I ain't praying. As a pastor, I'm going to pray for him, but as a parent, I ain't praying for him. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe, see, y'all more spiritual than I am. But as an employee, I got to know my role as an employee. I work for the convention. I'm required. So my point is simply is identify your role.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even put down there. I'm a son. I'm a sibling.
Paul.
A what?
I'm a Paul.
I'm a pop. Yep, I got grandkids. That's right. That's right. See, I'm a student again. You know, and all that kind of stuff. So I got all those roles. I got to fit them all, and I just can't lump them. I can't say family man. I gotta say no. I'm a spouse. I'm a parent. Yeah. So clearly define those roles. Okay. No. Here's the next one. You manage your time. Don't let other people manage it.
Oh, Jesus.
If you have balance, you got to manage your time. Don't let others do it. Sister, mine. Yeah. You manage your time. Don't let other people manage your time. Because you do know what? Because you do know folk will find time. Folk will find something to do with your time. Am I right, Pastor?
That's true.
They're going to find something. Pastor, you busy? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got time? No, I don't have time. But I'll give you some time. But let me manage that.
Yeah.
You know, drop-ins. And when you buy vocational, you moving and grooving. They're going to send you a text. They're going to call you. They're going to leave you. And they want you to pick up like you 911.
Yeah.
Or 311 information. You know, Pastor, you ain't called me back. I said, did you leave a message? You know I'm calling. Left a message? It wasn't that urgent. Well, I thought you just see the call. I go back, do you know how many roles I have? I got different, somebody said, I have 4 email addresses to manage. I keep them separated. I got my personal email, I got my, business, or so my convention, I got a school. So watch this. So I gotta know what's required. I gotta stay focused on my roles and responsibilities. And watch this, y'all. I gotta guard my personal family time. Because folk will take your family time from you. Pastor, what y'all doing? No, what you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm with the family. Okay, well, let me talk to you right quick. Well, time out. I just here with the family. Well, here's what I discovered. Don't answer the phone. Put a window. So one of the first things I did was I said, listen, I'm going to ask you, I'm asking the congregation, after 7 p.m., if it's not an emergency, where someone is just like dying, and you dying, I can't help you anyway. I'm like, you call your doctor, and your doctor says, and you get in and says, now, if this is a medical emergency, please hang up and dial 911. Right, so I'm saying, but here's my personal time. I gotta manage that. So here's my time. So when I come home, I'm like, and I gotta be able to say, I gotta leave my work stuff at work. I gotta leave at the door. I gotta put my books or my backpack, whatever, in my office. And I gotta do that, because if you don't, again, someone will. Guard your family time. So you manage it. Don't let other people manage it. There's a saying I have. I don't know who I got it from, because I can't give nobody credit no more. I've been using this so long. You know how that goes. First time you say something, yeah, James told me. Then the next time, I've often said, and I heard, and I've always said. Well, your emergency is not my urgency. You've been knowing about this for months. Now it's an emergency that you get done. That's not my urgency. I ain't in a hurry to go get that done. I got some stuff over here that's on my calendar. And I put stuff on I'll block it off on my calendar. Guard your time. Manage your time. Learn to delegate. Now, don't be afraid to delegate. Acts 6, the disciples, they call them the pillars of the church. Peter, James, and John said, must we leave prayer and teaching and preaching to serve table? Not that serving table is this menial work. They pushed Ephesians 4:11 through 13. I think it's one of the most underappreciated, underutilized verses in Scripture. He says, I gave some to be apostles, some to be prophets, some to be pastors, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. What? For the equipping of the saints for the works of service. Delegate stuff out. If you don't delegate it, you're going to always take it. When I first got to the church that I'm serving now, I wasn't even pastor at the time. I was at the interim at that point. And I remember them asking me, someone asked me, said, Reverend, can we decorate the church for Christmas? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. My next question is, as a leader, do y'all have decorations? Yes, sir, we do. My follow-up question was, where are they? They're in the attic. Follow-up question is, who gets them down? Y'all already know where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
Their response was, well, the previous pastor used to go up and get them. My response is, who getting them down this year?
Moving forward, how we gonna do it?
Right. You got me, right? So they said, oh, we'll get it down. Cool. And then I immediately left. Because I didn't want them to think I was going to think about it. I was going to be pastoral or loving or passionate. Hey, baby, grab your bag, time to roll. We're out of here. Came back to church on that Wednesday. All the stuff that was in the attic, that was Christmas, even mistletoe, was in a room about this size. They were a little small. Everything was out there. Cool. Came back Sunday. The church looked magnificent. It was just decked out in red and green and tinsel and all that kind of stuff. Boom. I didn't see nothing. Everything was just tight. Cool. All of December. At the end of December, I said, well, now, when are we going to put it back up? We want to undecorate the church. They said, well, Pastor, we got to come. Cool. They said, Reverend, we got to come. Cool. Came back Wednesday. Everything is taken down. Everything in boxes. Everything in that same room that I saw, right? Cool. Next Wednesday, I come. Next Sunday, I come. There's nothing. There's no evidence that was ever even Christmas stuff. I said, man, y'all did a great job packing this up. I said, again, y'all did a great job decorating. I said, let me ask a question. I said, who put it back up? No, they said, Pastor, you know what? There's a closet on the first floor. Everything fits in it. Did you know that? I said, no, I didn't. I said, well, I'm glad y'all found it. 12 years later, that stuff's still in that closet. I ain't never been in the attic to go. Why? Because if I start doing that, boom. But then let me talk about delegation. When you delegate, you got to clean delegate, which means you don't micromanage stuff. And so delegation is like this. Listen, select the right person for the job. Find out who the right person is to do the job that you need done, and let them do it. Empower the person to do the job. Empowerment means you let the people know. I was something like say, okay, this is Bonnie's job. She's going to do this. I've asked her to do this. I've placed hands. Okay, this is Bonnie's task. Bonnie gonna lead this. Ira coming out of this. If I got any questions, I'm going to Bonnie. If y'all got any questions, y'all go to Bonnie. Don't come to me with questions for Bonnie, because I don't know. Why? Because Bonnie is the right person, or whoever that person. James, they're the right person for the job. We vetted them for the job. But you got to know who those people are. So one of the things I've done is, one of the things I did early on, and I continue to do, I use the DISC profile, D-I-S-C, the DISC profile, to identify what people's preferences are as far as communication and how they work best. And so because of my personality preference, I'm a high I. Now, if you familiar with the DISC, then you'll know what I'm talking about. But when you Google it, so I'm an extrovert. I'm a visionary. I got the ideas. Here's the deal for me. I can stand at the water cooler all day long. We can talk all day long, but I ain't getting nothing done. But I can work you up. I can make you excited. So it's like later. So I'll say something like this: Church, we need to take a church trip to DC. And everybody be like, what? I say, yes, and it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great, fantastic, cool. Now, Pastor, how we getting there? I don't know. They got 2 people who I would delegate that to. There's one lady who she will get all the detail between here. So here's what she's gonna do. She's gonna walk out. She's not, Pastor, I know you want to go to DC, and that's cool. That's nice. So where we want to go? What do you envision us? So she know the questions to ask me, and I know the questions she's gonna ask. You get what I'm saying? So when you know those persons, you know that person who's a C who likes to do the detail work, they got a whole bunch of questions. And when you answer all their questions, they go get busy. So I'll tell them what I need, where we're gonna go, how many stops I think we should make, if we should take a bus or fly, whatever. Here's what our preference is. She's gonna come back, it's gonna be all laid out. I'm gonna sell it to the people. Now look here. We're gonna stop in Birmingham. We're gonna stop in such and such on the way. We're gonna hook up over here. They're gonna think it's my idea. Nope, it was her idea. And another person who's gonna manage all the money to get everybody there and back. I don't touch none of the money. I don't know the checking account number, nothing. I don't want to know it. All I know is when it's payroll time, my check clear. That's all I know. Hold up. But when we planning these, watch it. But don't put me as the one that's gonna balance the checkbook.
You got time for that.
I ain't got time for that. Now I do that at home, but not at the church for various reasons. But to plan the whole no. Can I do this? Yes, I can. But my point is, I empower those persons. I let them go to this clean delegation. I don't micromanage. I don't go ask them every other day or every day, where you at now? Show me this. Show me that. No. Hey, look, next Thursday I need to have this on my desk. When I come in, I'm bivocational, right? So when I'm coming in and out, I ain't in the office all day. You shoot me emails that we're gonna be typing. I ain't gotta. No. I'm trying to figure out what's it. And at times, and got to be specific on what you want. You can't delegate without specificity. So I'm expecting this. I would say to the lady, I said, I'm expecting you to give me the best prices or give me some ideas on what's the best ways to take this trip. Where could we stop? I'm specific. I'm expecting you to bring this back to me. Or I'll tell our student ministry, listen, I'm expecting us to have kids and youth be able to do this. Boom. Here's my expectation. I don't micromanage. I just move out of it. But I delegate that out. Because if I got to do youth ministry and the sound system and all that kind of, no. Here's what I discovered. When you're a bivocational pastor and leader, typically that means you're in a small membership church. And you don't have a whole bunch of people. Which means you can't wear people thin. So some things just don't get done. Sometimes you got to figure out, you know what? We're not going to do this ministry right now. Why not? Because we ain't got nobody to put it over. Because guess what? If you start doing it, you're going to stay doing it. Unless you have an exit plan. Okay, that makes sense? Cool. Where we at? I call it develop a cord of 3 strands. I call it 3 strands in your ministry. If you can find, before you look too much, I'm already there. If you can find 3 people that you can pour your life into. Jesus chose 12 disciples, did he not?
Yes.
Jesus fed over 5,000. 4,000 on another occasion, right? That's just men, not including women and children. He loved everybody. He chose 12. He poured himself into 3. Everywhere, every time there was a major move, who did he take with him? Peter, James, and John. Mount of Transfiguration, who he took? Peter, James, and John. When he went and to raise Jairus, to raise the little girl who was dead, who did he bring in the room with him? Peter, James. When he goes into the Garden of Gethsemane, who does he bring with him? Peter, James, and John. He went to prayer meeting with everybody. He took Peter, James, and John to the inner sanctum. So they understood. When Jesus was resurrected, at his resurrection at the tomb, he says to the women, go and tell my disciples and Peter. Because now he's the point man. And what happened was, when you pour yourself into those individuals, they become sounding boards. They become champions for your cause. They understand your heart. They know what you're doing. But they have to, first of all, have a love for the ministry, a love for the Lord, and a love for the ministry. So I don't just random, it's not no favoritisms. But I strategically sought the Lord. It took me a year almost to figure out who those three were. When I found those three, I poured myself into them. I helped them make sure they get some training. I spent extra time with them. I may send them to a conference. So here's what I do.
Are they all men?
They're men and women. They're men and women. I'll make sure my wife knows everybody. To your point, they're men and women. And because they're women, I make sure my wife knows everything that's going on. So she knows who the Peter, James, and John are. There ain't no secret me, you know what I'm saying? So because of their strengths. So what I try to do is every year around October, I negotiate with the church and say, listen, I'm gonna take some vacation. I need like 4 days away, seeking the Lord, planning for the next year. Okay, so what I do is I'll go away, and I got, Lord, where you want the church to go, what you want me to do, what's our focus, what's the scripture references, so I'm doing all this in 3 or 4 days. When I come out of it, after I've heard clear from what the Lord wants, I got a clear sense, I will pull those three aside one by one and say, listen, the Lord's been showing me this month in my time away. Here's where I'm sensing He wants the church to go next year. And I'm sharing and say, okay. And they'll ask me questions. So, well, how will we do this? What would that look like? So what they're doing is, that's my sounding boards, right? Every November we have a leaders retreat. So I got that Jesus syndrome. So I got 12 people, including myself. That's 13 of us on leadership team. But now this happened to work out that way. And I got 3 people that I pour into. So when I bring the 13 of us together, those 3 already know, because they have a whole month ahead of time, they already know where I'm headed. And so I strategically put them in between those 13, the other 12. So when you hear murmuring and whispering going on among them, then they can just say, well, hold on, let him finish that. I ain't got to say nothing. Those 3 can write a letter that sounds just like me, because they know my heart. They know where I'm headed. One time, we was transitioning some stuff, and one of the other leaders on a break, leadership planning time retreat, one of the leaders was saying, well, because I like to propose, when we get back, I want to talk about whatever. It was an earshot, so I heard him, and one of the leaders said, now, didn't Pastor just say we taking this another direction? He didn't say he.
That's the key.
You got it. We taking this another direction. The other leader said, oh no, you're sure right. You're right. Because he said, nah, because if we taking this away, he's not going to prove that. So it went from we to he, because he put it back on me, because they're going to present it to me. So guess what? I ain't never heard it. October, I go away. Then I start talking to them for a couple of weeks before our November meeting, retreat. In November, I bring it to the team. So the team now knows where we're going, and they working together, so they understand it. And in January, we have a church meeting, and we share with the church where we headed. Here's the budget we're going to need for that. Y'all, guess what? Our annual business meeting lasts 30 minutes. Don't try to do this at home if you ain't used to that. But I had to negotiate that at the beginning. 30 minutes, hey, here's what we're going to watch this. And the leaders are sprinkled around, and people know who the Peter, James, and John are. Because you know why? Because they're going to call them before they call me.
The other thing, Pastor, when you say that, they're saying we, so never say Pastor said.
Yep.
And so there's never that confrontation of power or authority with you or the people or the lay people.
That's good.
And then those 3 hold everybody accountable. We're in the church, we're in this together. This is what this looks like when we do it together.
Absolutely. And that's what they do. So we're in this whole thing together. So they become my champions. So you need those persons in there. If the Lord changed, He's not changed them out in 10 years. You know, I mean, He's not. I've not added more. I'm not saying that other people couldn't be, but again, it's a vetting process. You got to be able to know where they are. So you need that to help you, because you can't be every, and guess what? They will hear things and listen with your ear. They will see things and they'll use your lens. They'll see stuff in our congregation and go, I'm seeing how pastor might see it. Then they can do some, what I call, they can do a redo and go, now here they'll help me see it through the lens of the congregation.
So
exactly. You know what I'm saying?
You're
But that's
still growing. You're still being.
and that's what we're trying to know. That's what we're trying to know. Listen, commit to intentional breaks and periods of rest. How many of you go on vacation? How many of you schedule your vacation at the beginning of the year? Put it in your calendar before you put anything else.
You know, I do the vacation, but I didn't do better with the periods of rest.
You gotta take a break. Mark chapter 6, Jesus says, he sent the disciples out. They was all excited about the ministry they'd done. They was healing sick, raising dead. They was feeding the people. All that kind of stuff was going on. Demons was being exercised. He said, y'all excited, now come for a little while. One of the things that I do as bivocational ministry, I have something called a Mark 6 retreat. I do Mark 6 retreat. I kind of facilitate them. And I take pastors away, they and their wives. We go to a hotel for the weekend. I say, get somebody to preach for you on Sunday. Because if you don't take off on Sunday, you wasn't off. If you don't take off on Sunday, you was not off. You weren't off. Okay? And so Mark 6, I come, ain't no heavy theology, ain't no heavy teaching. We're going to pour into you a little bit. We're going to share, we have a nice little dinner at the steak restaurant. We're going to chill. We're going to hang out by the pool. If y'all want to go swimming, go swimming. If you want to go to the mall, go to the mall. If y'all want to go, boom. Mark 6, come apart and rest a while. We ain't talking about ministry, nothing. I ain't selling nothing, ain't nothing, nothing. I just thank God that you're here. So I try to do that regionally. So I don't want you to be, if you got to travel 12 hours to get a place, that's work. So anyway, that's, as bivocation ministry, that's what we try to do. But if you don't take off on Sundays and midweek from church, you're not off. Here's the thing, do not use ministry events and meetings as family getaways. Don't bring your children over here talking about we going to Dallas for a getaway. You come to work. This is work. Because when I bring my family here, they know I'm working. I got 3 sessions I'm leading. I work with the convention, so people going to want to talk to me about convention work. My children ain't going to see my wife and my children adults. They ain't going to see me. I got to go where nobody know my name. I kid you not. I go a little way. I go take some spot. So here's a true story. So watch this. So my wife and I did a little getaway, and we didn't tell anybody.
Nobody know your name.
Nobody know my name. So 2 people knew at church. Who those 2 people?
Your inner circle.
My inner circle.
Your inner circle.
They knew exactly where I was, just for protection, because we was going for a foreign country. And one family member knew where we were. Everybody didn't know. Even the kids didn't know. No, they don't need no doors, and they didn't even know. So check this out. So we went to Mexico with a little beach area. Well, I took that picture, and I was over there. I had my little muscle shirt on, my little shorts, my sandals, my little Ray-Bans. You know, I'm walking on the beach. And I'm trying to get me a hookup with the vendor on the beach. I said, hey man, I said, senor, can I get a hook? Got some deals. He said, yeah, senor. So we dialogue. He said, where you from? I said, man, this ain't time to discuss where my geography. Can we get a hookup? So he wouldn't let that go. I said, I'm from the U.S. Where? I said Texas. I'm like, what's 20 questions? Finally got all the way down. Then he asked me this, Doc. He said, what kind of work you do? No, I ain't here to preach, man. I ain't here to minister, I'm here to rest. So I can't lie, I'm good. I said, I'm a pastor. Oh, Baptist? You mean of all the faiths, you gonna pick Baptist? I'm like, do I have Baptist written? I'm like, so anyway, so this guy started telling me about a Baptist pastor in the community. I said, so you go to that church? He says, no, I don't go to that church. But I know the pastor. Now, my pastor, now my spiritual had come on. Like, how are you going to talk about somebody in a city of 300,000 people? You know that pastor. He knew where the church was located. He knew the pastor's full name. Everything. It's a setup. So I'm trying to figure out, and he don't go to that church. And he don't go, so now I'm on the plane Googling this guy. I get back to Dallas. I talk to some of my friends from the River Ministries or in the missions, on the missions team. I said, Daniel, I said, hey Daniel, I was in this place over here, and this guy's name came up, a pastor out there. He goes, oh yeah, Jorge Guzman. I said, you know him? He said, yeah, here's his number. I said, well, I want to bless his ministry. I said, because whatever he's doing, he got locals, beach vendors who know him, and they don't go to his church. So Daniel calls Jorge. Jorge calls back and says, last week I was praying for somebody who was bivocational to come lead our bivocational pastors. So 60 days later, I'm back in the place, leading retreats and training leaders in Mexico. Well, he messed up my playground because I'm trying to go where nobody there. So watch this. So my wife and I snuck back in there one day. Didn't tell the pastor. I don't remember recording this. Didn't tell the pastor. Didn't tell my friend we was coming. We just coming to chill. Go to our favorite little spot. I'm over there with my wife, my godson and his wife, and we just enjoying ourselves. And all of a sudden, nobody know me by Dr. Antoine. They just know me by Ira. I don't give them no title, no nothing. I'm getting ready to go I'm at the pool walking around, and all of a sudden I said, hey, pastor. I kept walking. Because they ain't talking about me, because I ain't resting this pastor. Then dude said, Pastor Ira. I'm the only Ira in Mexico. I said, see? He goes, you remember me? I'm Alex, Pastor Jorge's church. See? I said, hey, here's $20. You ain't seen me here. I don't see nothing. So my point is, listen, you gotta get away, take your family, but go places where you're not working. That's here we go. Here's some steps. Plan your vacation, put it on a calendar. Place your planning time. So I can tell you, every October I do this planning. My vacations, I ask my wife, where we'd like to go this year, when we'd like to go. Here's when we're gonna go, here's our standard times. I put it on the calendar. Here's when I know I have stuff. So I got staff week. So certain things I gotta work around. Then I put my church stuff on there. Because the church will always want to take room first. Nope, let me put my vacation on and then we come do this. What I say number 2 is, you manage your time. Don't let other people manage your time. But be intentional with it. Playing with the Holy Spirit's guidance. I have pastors who tell me, well, no, doctor, you can't stifle the Spirit. I said, so you think the Spirit don't know tomorrow? So when I'm planning in October, the Spirit already know what He wants in 2021. I'm just trying to get 2020. So the Holy Spirit says, God wants us to do this. Boom. I plan my preaching and I make my preaching and teaching. So when I leave my October meeting, my October time, I know what my sermons are going to be from January through May. I may not have every sermon title, but I know where we're going. I know what books we're going to be. I know what emphasis we're going to be doing, so forth and so on. I got all this planned out. I'm doing it, y'all. You don't the Saturday Night Live, Saturday Night specials. No, now, I'm not saying that sometimes the Spirit don't change my sermon. I've had that 2 or 3 times. You get up there before you know it, the Spirit don't change it. I'm traveling. I'm doing too much. I know where I'm going. Boom. Because I'm planning ahead. I plan events 6 and 12 months ahead of time. You put them on. So this is going on. Who do we need? How do we need to do? So I live by my portable device. I live on my calendar. I got my calendar in my head, literally. So you can ask me a date right now. I can tell you if I'm available now. all the way through March of 2020. Is that 6 months out? I already got stuff next year on my calendar. I already know what's going on. You got to, because that's what we're doing. Here's number last. Share your leadership. Don't be afraid to share your leadership. Sharing is more than delegating. It's empowering someone else to do what you do within limits. Okay? So, don't be afraid to share leadership. One of the biggest compliments that you can have is that you can go away, because you share leadership, you can go away and things still running smooth. Because if you can go away and things still running smooth, people know who you put in charge.
How many Sundays you miss a year?
So for vacation is 4. No. I missed 4. So it's 4 for vacation.
4 Sundays.
I got 4 Sundays for vacation throughout the year, and then probably 4 more. So out of 52, 8. I got to do from convention. Someone say, "Hey, can you come preach for me on this Sunday morning?" Sure, something like that. Yep. But what did I identify first though? What did I identify first?
Vacation.
Vacation. And so like August, so August is my I don't preach and teach in August. August is my month off. So that's not even including them 4 right there. So I'm in the house. I'm in the house, but I'm not preaching. So I guess somebody come in. 2 minutes. When you're able to share your leadership, I'll give you these as scripture references. Moses shared his leadership with the elders. Remember, Jethro, his father-in-law, says, "Moses, the thing you're doing is killing you." Then the Lord says, "Give some of your responsibility to Joshua." Jesus empowered and sent his disciples to do some of the same things he did. Matthew 10:1. He sent them out by 2s. When you share your leadership and you delegate and share your leadership, you don't have to be stressing when you leave. You know what I'm saying? But when you share it while you're around, it's just naturally when you're gone. So, the top of August, the Lord allowed me to lead a team of 8 total. It was 8 of us who did 2 weeks, 17 days in East Africa. We were doing some training and some work out there with the conventions in Tanzania and Uganda. And everything just kept on going. But I delegated before I left. I shoot some emails out. I shoot some texts. I say, "Listen, remember so-and-so is leading this effort, so-and-so is over this. Y'all need such. I didn't get a single phone call. When I got back, ain't nobody was shot, killed, mad, and the place wasn't burned. Now, I don't attribute that to my good skills. I contribute that to the people saying, "Okay, we follow you. We okay with this." So, now, did I miss them and they missed me? Yeah, they did. But because we share that leadership, you can go up and do some stuff. Sometimes we don't want to leave because we don't know what's going to happen when we come back. That's not their fault. That's our fault.